We hear so much about plastics harming environment, wildlife and birds, and its astonishing indestructibility that makes it to be found everywhere from Arctic to Antarctica. But as with anything else, even plastic has its beneficial use despite the harm it causes. Hello everyone, I am Rupal Gupta and together we will explore the world of plastics and polymers. So polymers is a Greek term. It can be divided into two. It's in that the poly means many and mers means units. So by this we can see that polymer is made up of many small units, and these small units are known as monomers. The one unit in this polymer is known as monomer. So as we see that many monomers are coming together, combining together to form a polymer, it is bound to have a high molecular weight. So it is also a macromolecule because it has a high molecular weight. So to get a clear idea on what polymers really are, we'll take an example of conversion of ethene to polyethylene. What is ethene here? Ethene is an organic compound. Here you can see that it has in ethene, eth means two carbon atoms and ene means a double bond between them. Here is the ethene molecule. Here are the two carbons. It has a double bond in between. When n number of ethene are polymerized together, it forms polyethylene polymer. So you can see ethene is a monomer here and polyethylene is its polymer. Here n number of ethene molecules, when they are polymerized to give polyethylene, the reaction is something like that. I am showing it to you. Here the ethene molecule, when the pi bond breaks, this double bond is also called a pi bond. When it breaks, it yields two vacancies on each carbon of the ethene molecule. So something like that you can see. These two vacancies that are being yielded after the breakage of pi bond will form new single bonds with the adjacent molecules of ethene that they have. So because of this, you see a long chain of polyethylene will be formed. When two vacancies are created here, a chain which looks something like this is formed. Here in polyethylene, you can see N. N is the number of monomers that we are taking. It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, but it can never be 1 because it is understood that you cannot form a polymeric chain with only one monomer. So moving on to our next example, which is nylon 6,6. Moving on to our next example, that is nylon 6,6, we'll see its synthesis. Nylon 6,6 is produced when hexamethylene diamine reacts with adipic acid. Here n number of molecules of hexamethylene diamine are reacting with n number of molecules of adipic acid. They will undergo polymerization and will form nylon 6,6 along with the byproduct that will be eliminated, that is water, n number of water molecules. So why is it named hexamethylene diamine? It is because it has 6 methyl groups and 2 amino groups. So 6 methyl groups and 2 amino groups give its name hexamethylene diamine. When this hexamethylene diamine reacts with adipic acid, the terminal group, this amino group, it will react with carboxylic functional group of adipic acid. And adipic acid is used industrially to produce nylon. Adipic acid is also a dicarboxylic acid. You can see structurally it is a dicarboxylic acid. So when this amine group, this is the amine group of hexamethylene diamine, it reacts with COOH group of adipic acid. Water molecule is eliminated. N number of water molecules which I stated here. This water molecule will be eliminated out and this amino group will be forming a bond with this carboxylic carbon atom. So it will form nylon 6,6 along with the elimination of n number of water molecules. moving on to the classification of polymers. As you can see, polymers can be classified on 5 classes based on, first is based on source, second is based on structure of polymer, third is based on mode of polymerization, that is the mode of synthesis, and fourth is molecular forces, fifth is growth polymer. One by one we'll see what all comes under these different classifications. First we will see based on source. So based on source, the polymers can be classified into natural, semi-synthetic and synthetic polymers. Under natural polymers, you see whatever we obtain from plants and animals also, it comes under natural polymers. Cellulose, starch, resin and rubber, all of these are obtained from plant. All of these are called as plant products. So here starch is very common. It's present in potato, it's present in most of the food items. And in semi-synthetic, we see cellulose derivative is the example. So what is cellulose derivative? You don't need to go into depth of this. I'm just giving you a simple surface idea of this. Cellulose derivatives are formed when in this this natural cellulose, when then this natural cellulose undergoes some reactions and acquires some functional groups or something. They'll be attaching some substitutions on this natural cellulose. Then this cellulose derivative will be formed. Third is synthetic. In this we have already seen what is polythene and nylon 6,6. Buna S will come to know later in this chapter what Buna S is. Based on structure of polymer, polymers can be classified into linear, branch chain and cross-linked polymer. So here we'll see linear polymers. It is simply stating the arrangement of the different chains of polymers. So here the chains are arranged linearly. You can see linear pattern is just one after the other. They are arranged like that. So example of that is polythene and PVC. PVC is a polyvinyl chloride, and this PVC is the same thing that you see on the cover of your capsule stripes. The plasticky material, that's not plastic, it's actually PVC. It is used in packaging of capsules. The second example is second class is branched chain polymers. In this, the example is low density polythene. Here you see the difference between linear and branch chain is that you see these small branches arising from the chain of polymer. These small branches are the reason that polythene becomes loses its density a little bit, because these chains are the ones, they're causing some kind of repulsion in between the polymer chains. So these branches are causing some kind of repulsion between the polymer chains. So there is this density gets lowered because of these branches. Third one is cross-linked or network polymer. This kind of polymer is a rather stronger one. The interaction between two polymeric chains will be more strong than the branched and linear one. This cross-linked polymer, in this mainly bifunctional and trifunctional strong covalent bond is there. That means that the monomers that are constituting polymer here, these monomers are either bifunctional or trifunctional. They have 2 functional groups or 3 functional groups, and they are attached by covalent bonds. The covalent bond is formed when electrons are shared between 2 molecules, and this bond is it's a strong bond. It's stronger than van der Waals force and hydrogen bonding. The example for cross-linked polymer is bakelite and melamine. Based on mode of polymerization, this is the third class in the classification of polymers. Mode of polymerization can also be said that it's the mode of synthesis. It's the synthesis of polymers, how they are synthesized. Based on that, we are classifying polymers here. In this, we see 2 kinds of reactions that yield 2 kinds of polymers. First is addition polymer. As the name suggests, this polymer is made after addition reaction, and its example is polythene. We have already seen what polythene is. And the next one is condensation polymer. As the name suggests, again this process is condensation process. The synthesis is condensation process, and the example for this is nylon 6,6. These two we'll see in detail what addition polymers and condensation polymers are. Now let's see what are addition polymers. Addition polymers are formed when two or more molecules having multiple bonds like triple and double bonds combine together and form a polymer. They undergo addition reaction. And the addition polymers are of two types. They can be homopolymer and they can be copolymer. So now what are homopolymer? As the name suggests, the homo means same. Same kind of monomers are used to make this polymer. Is this homopolymer? An example for this homopolymer is polythene. We have already seen what polythene was. We used ethene molecules. Only ethene molecules were used to form polythene. So it's a homopolymer. The example for copolymer is Buna-S and Buna-N. Now copolymer is the one in which the monomers which are used are of different kinds. Like they will have different functional groups. For example, in Buna-S, here is the synthesis of Buna-S, this reaction. Here you see when 1,3-butadiene reacts with styrene molecule, both are n number. The n number of 1,3-butadiene reacts with n number of styrene molecules. It gives Buna-S. Now you can see why is it called 1,3-butadiene. We'll cover the nomenclature as well with this so that you'll have a slight idea why we are naming these molecules as these chemicals as 1,3-butadiene or anything else. So now this is named 1,3-butadiene because first you see but. But means 4 carbon atoms. Here in this there are 4 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now the numbering 1 and 3 is because of the double bonds which are present in between of the carbons. The double bond is present between 1 and 3rd carbon. You can see here the carbon number 1, if you name it like this, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So from here the first carbon is having the double bond, then second carbon doesn't has, and then third carbon is having. So 1,3-but-diene because there are 2 number of double bonds. The double bonds are 2. So here we add di and ene for the double bonds. So this is 1,3-butadiene and styrene molecule. Styrene, if you don't understand it like this, then you can see the structure. It's the benzene ring substituted by ethene molecule. So it forms styrene. When these both react, they form Buna-S. How is it formed? It's simple. When this in 1,3-butadiene, when this double bond is broken, both these double bond are broken. As I have shown in ethene, the valency is formed in this first carbon and second carbon. In both the carbons, the valency will be forming. Just see it here. After breakage of double bonds, the double bond which was here is broken. This double bond is broken. So now this this vacancy is here in this carbon atom and here also. And now this here also, this electron will be there with their own carbon atoms. The electron will be taken up, and now these electrons are available to form bonds with the adjacent molecules. So this electron will be forming the bond with styrene molecule, and in styrene also it will form bond with the substituted ethene on the benzene ring. So here you see this electron is engaged in forming a bond this side with the adjacent molecule of styrene, and this side also it will be forming a bond with styrene. So we see here these 2 electrons are remaining. What they will do? They will form a bond in between them. So here you see this double bond is there. Double bond. This double bond is coming because these 2 carbon atoms, they were having their own electrons. They have shared it and they have formed a double bond here. So you see double bond is formed like this. In case of styrene, when it has to attach to this vacancy here, when it has to attach to this carbon atom containing 1 electron, it will again break its bond. Like the bond breakage will happen as same like here, same as in here the double bond was broken. In styrene also, this carbon, this double bond will be broken. And when this double bond is broken, the electrons were taken up by these 2 carbon atoms. These 2 electrons that were taken up by the carbon atoms now will form bond with adjacent molecules of 1,3-butadiene. So here you see these two carbon atoms, they are forming bond with 1,3-butadiene, and these are also n numbered. This n is same like the n number of monomer that we have taken here. It can be 2, 3, 4, whatever. So here we are placing n at in this side to show that this is a polymer, this is the product of these reactants. So the chain will be progressed in such a way that the same number of monomers that we have taken, they will form the polymer here and will progress the chain. So we are placing that number n. Now let's see what are condensation polymers. Condensation, you might have seen whenever we take hot showers or hot baths, the vapor, the water vapor, when it comes in contact with the mirror because it's a cool surface. So mirror is a cooler surface. When this hot water vapor come in contact with mirror, you will see that the water will be a layer of water is formed on the mirror. So that phenomena is also called condensation. Here condensation is when two molecules combine with each other and yield water molecules, like the water molecules will be eliminated in process of their combining, the condensation reaction is there. That is condensation reaction. So here we see that in condensation polymers, to form condensation polymers, the monomers should have a bi or trifunctional groups. It is important that they have functional groups. And two different bifunctional or trifunctional monomeric units react to give polymers with elimination of water molecules. It's the same thing that I told you. If you are taking two different monomers, they are having different kind of functional groups. Just take the example of nylon. In that case, there was adipic acid with bicarboxylic acid, like the adipic acid was bicarboxylic acid, and we had hexamethylene diamine with amino group. There were two different functional groups in those both of those reactants to form which formed nylon in the end with the elimination of water molecule. Remember that. This is called condensation polymer, that is called condensation reaction, and this is what condensation polymers are.